and I'm ready for the NFL playoff season to finally commence. Now, we have a large slate of games here. This is the second year of 3 games on Wild Card Weekend, or as the NFL puts it, Super Wild Card Weekend, which with that name it makes me really wonder what it's going to be like when they add, eventually an 8th seed in both conferences. They're going to call it the Super Duper Wild Card Weekend. I don't know, but either way, this is pretty exciting. We got ourselves a slate of 6 games, 2 today, 3 Sunday, and then 1 on Monday night. Now, we have, of course, we're going to start off with the game at 4:30 on NBC. We got the Cincinnati Bengals, the winners of the AFC North and the 4th seed in the AFC, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, the 5 seed, 10-7, the first wild card out of the AFC, their second winning season since 2002, also their first playoff appearance since 2016, and their second since 2002. As everyone knows, the Raiders, they fought hard to make it here. A lot of issues, including the Henry Ruggs saga, the John Gruden saga, and many others. But either way, they are in fact here. And early in the season, they lost to the Bengals by 20 points, if I'm not mistaken. And with how the Raiders played a very tough physical game on the last game on the regular season, game 272 on Sunday Night Football, they play the first playoff game. It's a bit of a tough break, but then again, what can you do? The last time the Bengals won a playoff game was 1990 against the Houston Oilers at the time. And then they proceeded to lose in the divisional round against the then Los Angeles Raiders. That was the game that Bo Jackson ended up being hurt from and his career ended. And so I expect the Bengals will finally get their revenge here. And I see them winning the game by a score of at least a touchdown. I see at least a touchdown being scored here in this game. I can't see a situation in which the Raiders are winning because I just think the Bengals are just a better team right now. Granted, I am a little concerned about Joe Burrow's knee, but at the same time, I am still picking the Bengals to win this game because they beat him before. They're at home this time. They can easily beat him again. The second game on Saturday is a divisional matchup. You have the AFC East winning Buffalo Bills taking on and hosting the number 6 seeded New England Patriots. Yes, and you heard that right. The Patriots under Bill Belichick are a wild card team for the first time under Bill Belichick. All the times they made the playoffs in the past, they were as a division winner. So in this case, it's a little bit new territory for them as a wild card team. It's also new territory for them to be on wild card weekend as a road team. But here they are, the Patriots, after missing it last year, have made it back in the playoffs this year. And, I was very close to picking the Patriots here, but I really noticed that the Patriots have really slid off since their 8-game winning streak in the season. I mean, that helped them get there. But I don't know. It just feels like the team is not clicking the same way as it did to end the season. And, the Bills are a good team. The Bills are a team that have beat the Chiefs. They beat the Patriots in New England. And, yeah, they did lose to them on Monday night in Buffalo. But I can't see that happening again. Sean McDermott is a quality coach. He knows how to beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots. I don't know how Mac Jones is going to do in his first playoff game. And the Bills defense, man, they were snubbed out of the Pro Bowl. They deserved at least one Pro Bowl player. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win this game here and to move on to the next round. Now for the games on Saturday. We have the number 2 seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC taking on and hosting the 7 seeded Philadelphia Eagles. The Buccaneers, of course, won the Super Bowl last year. They are the reigning champions, and they're looking to get back there and to win back-to-back championships. The Eagles were a surprise team to make the playoffs, benefited from an easy schedule and took advantage of it, and here they are as the 7th seed in the playoffs. Any times any. I'm willing to do whatever I can to give my predictions here. So, the Buccaneers and the Eagles. I love Jalen Hurts. This Eagles team is very fun to watch. I hope that this team is still able to compete for the future because the Eagles are a very quality organization. And this is also against the Buccaneers. Brady has history against the Eagles in the playoffs. The 2 times that the Patriots faced against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, they won in 39, they lost in 52. And here they are. Here they are, the Buccaneers hosting the Eagles. Now, on one hand, one could easily pick the Eagles in this because the Eagles, they last week, even though they lost to the Cowboys, they rested a lot of their guys. And the Buccaneers, yeah, they won. They won the division. But, Chris Godwin's hurt. Leonard Fournette, I think, is still out. You don't have Antonio Brown anymore, so it's a little difficult. But their offensive line is still very good. And, you still have Tom Brady as your quarterback. You still have a decent special teams unit. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be by at least 10 points here. I'm still picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game to move on and the divisional round. That's just what I see happening in this game. I mean, the Eagles have had a good season, but I just can't see them beating the Buccaneers. I mean, it could happen. You never know, but I just can't see it personally. Now, for the second game on Sunday, we have the CBS Nickelodeon game. We have the Dallas Cowboys taking on their old rival from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, the San Francisco 49ers. This is the first time the two are meeting in the wild card round. The Cowboys, of course, finished the season with a quality 12-5 record, winning the NFC East. And, really complete team. Great on offense, great on defense, even good on special teams. So, yeah, you had Zerline, a little shaky, but Brian Angers had an all-pro caliber season. Meanwhile, the San Francisco 49ers, they're also a pretty balanced team. They have a great offensive line, quality offensive weapons with George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, a good quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, and their defense is still good with Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead. And, you also have a good special teams unit as well. And, you have 2 quality coaches. Mike McCarthy, the Dallas Cowboys, been to a Super Bowl, potentially could be a Hall of Famer one day. And Kyle Shanahan, a great offensive mind, and also has a good team in himself. Now, this, I think, is going to be the most balanced matchup of the bunch. I personally think the Cowboys are going to win this game because I think the Cowboys are the best team to be in the NFC other than the Packers, personally. But I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers pull off an upset here. And I think it'll be close. I think it'll be by 6 points because I just think this has the potential to be a very close and even game. The 49ers, of course, came back and beat the Rams to secure this playoff spot. Cowboys, I mean, they looked okay in some instances, but sometimes they look really, really good. I like this Cowboys team a lot, but I still think they're going to win by at least 6 points. Taking on and hosting the 7-seeded Pittsburgh Steelers in what might just be Ben Roethlisberger's final game in his NFL career. Now, before I talk about this game, I should mention that if the Pittsburgh Steelers, if there was a 7 seed during the entire 2010s, the Pittsburgh Steelers would have made the playoffs every single time. If that doesn't tell you the dominance of Mike Tomlin as a head coach, I don't know what will. Mike Tomlin is a future Hall of Famer. He is an elite coach. He always gets the most out of his players every single time. The Steelers, I thought, potentially could have had a losing record. But they won a lot of one-score close games. If that doesn't tell you the qualityness of a head coach like Mike Tomlin, I don't know what will. And I should mention, it is a shame that David Culley and Brian Flores were let go after just one season. No. David Culley was completely out the door, but Brian Flores should not have been fired. That Dolphins team was shaping up to potentially be even better in the future, and it's a shame. It really is a shame, and I hate seeing that for black head coaches. It's just not the same. They deserve a better chance. Fortunately, Mike Tomlin is the exception, and that's unfortunate because as great as he is, he should not be the only one that is like him. But moving on with that, you have two great head coaches here, Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin, two future Hall of Fame head coaches, two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Now, Ben Roethlisberger is not the same as he was when he was younger. This is clearly it for him. I really want to see that matchup of that Chiefs offensive game against the Steelers defensive game because that's what's going to keep them in their game, in this game in total. Now, I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game by at least 13 points, especially how it was in Week 16 when the Chiefs absolutely busted the brakes off the Steelers in Arrowhead. Yes, the Steelers could potentially go on one long run, but I just can't see it. I think the Chiefs are destined to win this game. And it would be sad for Ben Roethlisberger, but, you know, he had a great career, and I can't wait to see him make it first ballot because he absolutely deserves it. And yes, TJ Watt for Defensive Player of the Year. And the final game of Wild Card Weekend is the Monday night game, a divisional rival game where the Los Angeles Rams, the NFC West champion, take on their division rival, the Arizona Cardinals. Both of these teams split each other in the regular season, both on the road. Both teams kind of slumped at the end. The Cardinals at one point were the best team. I think we're like 7-0 at one point in the regular season, but then they fell completely down to earth. But not completely, but they petered out, but they ended up not even winning the division. Even when the Rams lost in the final game of the season against the Niners, the Cardinals still missed out on it because they lost at home to the Seahawks. So this is the toughest one to really pick here because, you know, the Rams were really set up to go the distance, but they kind of petered out at the end. Cooper Kupp is having an offensive player of the year, I would argue, MVP caliber season. And as for the Cardinals, you know, you still don't have DeAndre Hopkins. You still have DeAndre Hopkins out. That's a big blow to them. You've had some other injuries. You have not been the same. It's going to be close. But give me the Rams by 3 points. I think personally that in total, the Rams are the better team in this situation. But out of all of these, I think this is the easiest one that could be upsetted. I think out of all of them, this is the most likely to. But I know it's very risky for me picking all home games because usually every single year there's at least one game where the road team wins. But in this situation, I'm just confident in the home team in all instances that I gotta pick all of them in this case. So those are my thoughts on NFL's Wild Card Weekend. Again, for the AFC, I see the Bengals, Chiefs, and Bills winning those games. And for the NFC, I see the Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Rams winning those games. And that means I predict that the divisional round will have the number 1 seeded Titans against the 4 seeded Bengals, and the number 2 Chiefs against the 3 seeded Bills. And for the NFC, I predict next week in the divisional round will be the 1 seeded Packers against the 4 seeded Rams, and the 2 seeded Buccaneers against the 3 seeded Cowboys. That is my thoughts. What do you guys have to think? Who do you think is going to win this weekend in the NFL playoffs? That's my thoughts. I want to hear yours. Make sure to like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe to Zenny62 if you haven't yet. And yes, I'm going to be excited for the Bengals-Raiders game because I'm the closest with both fan bases. And honestly, I'm down for a great matchup, and I would be happy for whoever wins. Thanks, guys, and have a great rest of your day, and have a great playoff weekend. Deuce.